want, but they cannot go over that speed. When you see this group kind of matched how they are together, that means they're pretty much running on their speed bracket. Of course, the GPSs that are inside the boats will be checked after the race by our Race World P1 tech officials. All of the results we tell you, of course, unofficial until later today. Here is Class 7 entry. That's TFR X Insurance, the Class 7 boat, boat number 720. Camden Turk and Robert Bryant in that boat. Camden is JJ's son, who is running in the Class 5 entry. As our top three boats in Class 5 go 1, 2, and 3 into the turn. And again, a little bit hard to see from our vantage point, but there is Sweat Equity, Rendell One Design, Gerard Marine. Also running in Class 5. Sweat Equity, Ryan Beckley on board that boat. Twin outboard powered V-Hull running in Class 5. And, of course, Rendell One Design, Chris Rendell. And then Gerard Marine. Now, by my vantage point, in Class 6, it looks like Freebird is currently in first place in Class 6, but it's kind of hard to tell as we continue to race here in Cocoa Beach. And that looks like Gerard Marine. There's the Rendell One Design boat. Yep, he's getting to run it down to the turn. But this is the battle in Class 5. TFR Racing X Insurance, Phantom versus Warlock. JJ Turk, Michael Stancombe in the X Insurance boat. Elijah King and Greg Bellafato in Bulletproof, 29-foot Warlock versus a 30-foot Phantom. Again, can't go over 75 miles per hour. The gap is actually closed between these two boats just a little bit. This is perfect water for these V-bottom boats out here today in the Atlantic Ocean. Beautiful day. Now Class 7 goes by, and I'm finally joined by Mark Granite. Mark, welcome to the broadcast booth. We apologize for technical difficulties.
I'm up. Wow, what an amazing day out here, huh?
Absolutely beautiful. Class 7 going in front of our vantage point now. Here is TFR Racing X Insurance. They are leading Class 5.
These guys got a nice little battle going, and the water is really ideal for them. You can see they got a nice chop. They're out of the water.
Yep.
They're running at their optimal speeds. And
that's Punisher there. Again, we're kind of watching our screen and off of the balcony to bring you the action. And I believe that's X Insurance and Bulletproof. Class 5, this is the way it's been since it started. As they exit the dogleg and get to the southernmost part of the course, running clockwise today, making right-hand turns, 3.9 mile or 6.9 mile course, so just about 3.5 mile long straightaways. As TFR Racing X Insurance, Bulletproof, Rum Runners, Mike's Electric, your top three in Class 5. And by my vantage point, it looked like Freebird is first place in Class 6. As again, we're looking at our screen, bringing you the live racing action, and then also trying to keep an eye on the entire race course. TFR Racing X Insurance, Bulletproof, battling through the corner.
these guys coming through turn 4, it may look like they have a bit of a spread between them, but I can tell you, boat number 2 and 3 they're just licking at them. They can smell it, they can see it. They're waiting for a mistake right from TXR, waiting for him to kind of push wide. They got a nice straightaway, so everybody will be able to find some clean water here. Even though there is a bit of a swell and a bit of a chop, these guys want to get out of that wake and find some good clean water for those propellers, and that way they can start to make every little bit of gain. A lot of times when things get close, people tend to trim up the boat and get a little loose. You end up losing a little bit of space that way and a little bit of time, a boat length. Better to stay tight and stay on it and stay consistent.
Well, they can't go over 75 miles an hour, so that's the key point to all of it. You can go as fast as you want and get there as fast as you want up to 75, but you cannot go over 75 miles an hour. So right now, Bulletproof is just keeping TFR X Insurance in tow. And again, as I mentioned earlier, kind of seeing the spacing between these boats. I think these boats are right on their speed bracket.
Can you see?
As not much has changed as the laps continue to wind down here in Cocoa Beach. Rum Runners in third. Agora Day Spa in fourth in Class 5.
And you can see they've all spread out and found their clean water.
Yep.
That's where it'll run the best. They can gauge the way the water's hitting the hull. I mean, these guys are pouring it on right now.
TFR X Insurance continues to lead. Bulletproof in second. Rum Runners in third. Agora Day Spa in fifth. And I apologize, some misinformation earlier. Rendell One Design is running Class 6, and also Gerard Marine is running Class 6. So Freebird is in the lead in Class 6. I believe Rendell was in second, and Gerard Marine was in third. But this is the battle here in Class 5.
So close.
As we continue to wind down the laps. Of course, JJ Turk, local here to Cocoa Beach, Florida, owns La Quinta Inn and JT Social Bar, was instrumental. This race has been going on here for 14 years. Kerry Bartlett's been putting this race on here in Cocoa Beach, and just a fantastic race site. Mark, it's one of the true ocean races. Of course, you think about Cocoa Beach and everything that goes on out here and how rough it's actually been. I think 2018 was the roughest I've ever seen it. That's when the waves were crashing on top of the boats. They were so big.
Yep. Every race, every year, you never take it for a day like this. You always expect that it's going to be a rough race.
And I believe it's actually a little bit rougher than what they said it was going to be in the drivers' meeting. I think they anticipated it being a little bit flatter, but this breeze that we've had has kind of gotten stronger and stronger as the morning has gone on.
Yeah, Mike, the wind's been blowing out of the east all week long, and that'll create a bit of a groundswell. While it's difficult to see from the screens, guys, there is a bit of a groundswell here, and that will affect you most in the turns because they're going to be shifting positions. As they run up the beach, they're going to be running within the swell, so you're not going to see it. But as you get into the turns, you'll see them start to find those little swells.
Yep.
Take small flyers. That's a great time to pass, though.
It is a great time to pass. And really, in bracket class racing like we're doing here, that is the only place to pass is to the corners. If one team goes out wide, you're able to tuck up to the inside.
Yep.
I do believe the boats are probably hitting their max speed of 75 miles per hour in Class 5. Class 6, 70, and Class 7 is 60. Of course, Class 7, 60 miles an hour, boats limited to 22 feet. Single outboard engine, no more than 300 horsepower. Class 6, 70 miles an hour, boats must be less than 26 feet. A single inboard engine only. And, of course, Class 5 is 75 miles an hour, 30 feet and under, single engine, but exceptions are made. As you can see, we've got a couple of boats out here with twin outboard engines. So Class 6, Rendell One Design actually leads in Class 6. Gerard Marine in second, Freebird in third. This is TFR X Racing, the Class 7 boat, the sister ship to our Class 5 entry. And now the top three boats in Class 5 seem to be pulling away from Agora Day Spa. Eddie Simmons and Mark Henderson in Agora Day Spa. As we look back at Class 7, that's the Punisher, 22-foot velocity hull. And we apologize to the white one, a little bit harder to see. Two Class 7 entries as they exit the turn and will start running north here along the beach.
Interesting story about the Class 7. We have Nick Buss in a Class 7 boat. Nick Buss, the owner of Statement Powerboats, makes an amazing center console. Nick built a boat for his son and his friend to get out and race. Unfortunately, those guys had a school project that they had to do in D.C., and Nick, who is a former racer back in the early 2000s, did very, very well with Todd Werner, had to jump into the boat for this race. So I talked to him this morning. He's like, I can't believe I'm back in a boat. We got to get the points.
And a Class 7 boat, no less.
Right?
A lot different than what he is used to. Class 5, TFR Racing X Insurance continues to lead over Bulletproof. And I apologize, I did not grab my lap count sheet before I jumped out here on the balcony. We were pushed right up against 1 o'clock for a start time, so apologize about that. But we will keep our eye on the start-finish boat at the finish line to see what the results will be. Of course, all results you see here on the screen are unofficial until the GPSs are read. TFR Racing in the lead, Bulletproof in second, Rum Runners. Mike's Electric got Electric in third. There's Bulletproof coming into your screen. TFR, Mark, running a really tight course. Bulletproof had to go through the wake there. Saltwater tends to stay aerated a little bit longer than freshwater, so they've got to be careful. They'll lose a little bit of traction, if you would, just like if you were driving on a slippery surface. You'll lose a little bit of traction getting in that whitewater, but you can see he's jumped way back outside of TFR Racing. That's X Insurance. Bulletproof out there. This is Rum Runners down in the middle. So just trying to get clean water in this Class 5 battle. Agora Day Spa, which is just outside of our screen, had dropped off the pace quite a bit on the last lap. So we'll see if we can get an update on what's going on with them.
Yeah, they may have settled.
Rum Runner, but now Rum Runners is pulling in. Rum Runners is pulling in. Not sure what happened to Fran and Mike. They are slowing up. Nope, they are slowing down. Thought they were getting back up on a plane there. So Rum Runners, Mike's Electric got Electric out of the race and slowing on the inside of the course. So if Agora is still up and running, that would put them up into third. TFR, X Insurance in first, Bulletproof in second, and now possibly Agora Day Spa in third. There's Hammerhead Fly SRQ. Dennis Austin and Don Jackson in another Warlock hull. Multiple Warlocks running in this class. Of course, Class 5, Cocoa Beach. So this is going to be our first event of the day. This is Classes 5, 6, and 7. After this, we're going to bring you Class 1 qualifying. That'll be very, very exciting. Attended the Class 1 drivers meeting this morning. And then we will have Super Stock racing later today. All coming to you live Saturday from Cocoa Beach, Florida. Then tomorrow, we will bring you Mod V, we'll bring you Super Cat, we'll bring you Class 1, and 450, the stock 450 class starting tomorrow. Follow us on Facebook. Go to P1 Offshore's Facebook page. Keep up with your favorite race team, P1offshore.com. Of course, P1 now has the backing of Monster Energy. Unleash the Beast as we are racing live here in Cocoa Beach, Florida. Bulletproof, TFR, X Insurance, not much has changed. Of course, TFR X Insurance is your national champion from 2022, so they're picking up right where they left off. Here is our Class 6 boat. This is Gerard Marine. Jimmy Jensen and Chase Gerard in that boat. They were currently second place in Class 6. So we'll see if we can get everybody an update on the standings as they come by. TFR X Insurance continues to lead over Bulletproof. So now I think actually Hammerhead SRQ is now in third. So Agora Day Spa, who was slowing, it looked like on the backstretch, looked like they are out. So right now it's TFR X Insurance in first, Bulletproof in second, Hammerhead Fly SRQ in third. Those are your top three, and I believe that puts 7 power boats back to now up to fourth place. Yabba Dabba Doo in fifth place.
Yeah, the TFR X Insurance race is these guys have been relentless on them.
Yep.
X Insurance has just kept pushing and pushing. Like I said, it may seem like a lot of distance, but it really isn't. It is, you know, a matter of 100, 150 feet, and all it takes is one mistake, and they're going to slide right up.
Yep, but if X Insurance TFR Racing breaks out of their speed bracket, then that automatically moves Bulletproof up into first place. Again, these results are all unofficial. So now I believe it's Gerard Marine in first place in Class 6. Rendell in second. I have not seen Freebird come by lately. Let's see if we can get some updates for everybody. TFR X Insurance continues to lead over Bulletproof as they head down towards the dogleg. 6.9-mile course here in the Atlantic Ocean. And there is the X Insurance Class 7 boat. I believe, again, kind of hard to see from our screen here. We'll see as it gets into a little bit better view. And we will try and get an update on who is leading Class 7. Just got an update from the driver, Mike McLaughlin of Rum Runners, Mike's Electric. Says they clogged the sea strainer, which, Mark, I can see happening. There are quite a few beds of seaweed out here that are right up against the edge of the race course.
Yeah, this is a sargassum weed. It's out there. It's great for fishing, but not so good for power boats.
And that is boat, I believe, 747, running in Class 7. And, Mark, I believe that's one of the statement boats, is it not?
Is that class 747?
It's class 7. It's 747.
That's it.
All right, so that's one of the State Marine boats. So State Marine did build their own boat to come out and run class 7.
He built it for his son over the past year, and his son wanted to get racing with his bestie, and Nick put everything into it, and in between a slam schedule at State Marine, and sure enough, that first race came.
Of course, these teams did race in Marathon just 2 weeks ago. Marathon unfortunately cut short due to the conditions down there, but that was the first race of the APBA National Series. This is the second stop of the 6-race series. Classes 5, 6, and 7 currently racing on the course.
You'll be able to see these guys begin to hit this swell as they come through here.
TFR X Insurance continues to lead in Class 5. Bulletproof in second. Hammerhead Fly SRQ in third. And I believe it was 7 powerboats now in fourth. Again, in bracket class racing, you have to stay in the race. You have to stay consistent, because you never know if the boat in front of you broke out of their speed bracket. This is TFR Racing X Insurance, the Class 7 boat. JJ Turk's son Camden with Robert Bryant on throttles in this entry. As they continue to run along the beach here. It looks like the Class 7 boats are starting to turn into the middle of the course, so I believe that's going to wrap up their race here in Cocoa Beach, as it looks like our Class 5 boats have gotten up into some lap traffic. TFR X Insurance, now starting to lap some Class 7 boats. So, Mark, that'll have an effect, too, because that's, if they're trying to run out clean water and find clean water, now they've got to deal with 3 other boats that are in front of them, and they may have to run turns a little bit wider, may lose a little bit of ground. Got to be careful turning a step-bottom boat to the inside with the chop, with the aeration of the water. You don't want to cut it too hard to try and get down to the buoy, so they're going to really have to think about going through these turns.
Well, there's 2 things also that are going on here. These boats that are locking horns for first and second have one focus, and that is staying ahead and the boat in front. Everything else around them is a side piece. So they are pushing hard, and they're going to be trying to take the tighter lines. A lot of time the smaller boat may be kind of running their line, and they'll get split or they get run down. So the smaller boats will have to kind of ease to the inside a little bit and give way while those guys.
Well, as the rule is, faster boats to the outside, slower boats to the inside. So
it just doesn't happen always that way on the race course. These guys are.
I remember a particular first boat race for an announcer that might be sitting next to you, and Scotty Begovich did a flyby in a 40-foot victory catamaran hull, and I was in a 26 Joker. Hey, Mike, nice to see you again. TFR X Insurance continues to lead. Bulletproof in second. Hammerhead Fly SRQ is in third, but it's about a half a straightaway length behind our top 2 boats, but they are running a consistent third place. And again, they have to continue to run. They have to maintain the pace, because they do not know if the boats in front of them broke out. Rum Runners Mike's Electric is out. Agora Day Spa is out, both with mechanical issues. Now look at this. Now I believe that's a Class 7 boat, or is that TFR X Insurance? Looks like X Insurance, and Bulletproof. From that vantage point, it looked like they caught up quite a bit.
It sure did.
But look how wide Bulletproof went out. TFR X Insurance went way tight to the inside.
Oh, it looks like he's just made up ground here.
But all of a sudden on the outside.
Here we go. These guys are deck to deck right now. So this final lap here is going to be.
Yep, that's Bulletproof just on the outside of TFR X Insurance. What happened to TFR?
It looked like he took a better line. X Insurance took a better line. They kept speed up in that turn in turn 4.
Well, yeah, but now Bulletproof is within a rooster tail length. They've not been that close the entire day.
And they're in the right position coming into turn 3. Right?
Well, into the dog leg, he's going to be the inside of the dog leg, but he's going to have to establish overlap if he doesn't want to jump outside that wake. I think JJ and Michael will run it right to the pin.
So this from a racing perspective is depending on how good of friends they are, as TFR starts to push closer in.
They're going to pinch. They're going to pinch down on him for sure.
Yeah, they're going to pinch down on him. It's going to be tight. So, like you said, he's probably running right on that limiter at 74 miles an hour, or excuse me, 58 miles an hour. 75 miles an hour, and they just can't do anything. They're licking it. They can smell it right here. But it looks like he's got that inside position, so TFR is going to have to give him space.
Well, and he's starting to close on him now, just about a half a rooster tail length behind the Class 5 entry. But I can tell you, in bracket class racing, in all the years I've been doing this, you don't ever see, there he goes, just dove back to the inside. So he did go across the wake. he yielded that inside lane, so he probably couldn't see the buoy or thought he was on the other side of it. So now he is going to
That was a bit of a critical error that he made right there, because now he's got a clean turn.
But see, he can go wide and carry a little bit more speed. Then he's going to be lined up for the south turn of this course, and will he be able to hold it to the inside?
He should be able to, because he's going to push him.
He went back to the outside. He went as they went around that turn. He jumped right back to the outside. So he likes, I think, the outside lane. Maybe he feels he's going to carry a little bit more speed if JJ and Michael go in tight.
I don't think so with this swells on these turns. At these turns, you got to pin them. You got to go straight. Got to keep your boat straight. That's where you're going to make speed. You're losing speed in a turn. So at this point.
And it'll be interesting to talk to JJ and Michael and find out exactly what happened. They had a pretty dominating lead over Bulletproof, and then Bulletproof all of a sudden just came out of nowhere, made up a tremendous amount of ground. TFRX Insurance in first, Bulletproof in second. All their other classes have pulled off to the inside. We apologize to the Class 7 viewers. Very hard to see from our vantage point which boat was which.
Watch what happens here. You're going to see TFR stretch it out, begin to stretch it out.
We will get some unofficial results. Sorry, Mark. We will get some unofficial results for Class 7 and pass them along to our viewers as soon as we possibly can. So there they go. They enter the turn. Actually, they're halfway through the turn now.
TFR's got track position now. He's got clean water. He's essentially in idea. He's going to pin turn 4 here.
Well, there's your ground sway you're talking about. You can see him hop around now. And, well, I thought Bulletproof was going to go back to the inside.
Unless
nope, JJ and Michael, they ran it right to the pin. Exactly what they needed to do. Bulletproof.
Turn straight. Now straight. And all he's got to do is keep it right under that bracket speed.
And I believe this is going to wrap up the Class 5 race. Apologize, didn't get the lap count sheet from my little book that I made up. But this is the first race here Saturday, Thunder on Cocoa Beach, presented by Keltec. Of course, P1 Offshore producing this race. Go to p1offshore.com. P1 Offshore sponsored by Monster Energy Drink. Unleash the Beast. As X Insurance continues to lead over Bulletproof in Class 5. So I think Rendell unofficially won in Class 6. Gerard Marine was in second, and Freebird was in third. Again, all of our results are completely unofficial until the GPSs are read by our Race World and P1 Tech officials. Now, from that view, Mark, it looks like Bulletproof was able to make up just a little bit more ground.
I'm struggling with the sun on the screen here.
But it's kind of hard to tell as they are running towards the finish line. This should be their checkered flag. And they will turn to the inside of the course. So coming up after this, Class 1 qualifying will be next. And then we will go racing in Superstock.
Yeah, this is where he can't let his emotions and ego push it past that thing. He's got a second place. It's a hard-fought battle.
All right, so X Insurance turns in, and Bulletproof is going to turn in. So X Insurance, your unofficial winner in Class 5. Bulletproof in second. Hammerhead Fly SRQ should just now be running back up the course. They will, of course, come in unofficially third. And again, the reason we say unofficials, we need to make sure that they did not break out of their 75-mile-an-hour speed bracket. There are your top 1 and 2.
You can see they had a 2-second split here on that race.
Looked a little less than 2 seconds, but kind of hard to tell from our, it's hard to judge what's on the screen and what you see live.
And what it is, but I got to tell you that race, those guys were so focused.
Mm-hmm.
They were so focused doing everything. And remember, anything can happen in one of those turns. You can slip a little bit. Something could have happened in the cockpit where a communications line came out. You look down for a second to try and plug it back in.
Well, and they could have taken a big hop, too. They could have taken a big hop going through the corner. As you saw, the ground swells were causing some air. So this is 7 power boats. They should be coming across the line in 4th in Class 5. The twin outboard engine powered V-Hull. Here's Hammerhead Fly SRQ. They will come across unofficially in 3rd. And then 7 powerboats just behind them will come across in 4th. Your top 4 in Class 5. Agor Day Spa out with a mechanical issue. Rum Runner out with a mechanical issue. Said they clogged a sea strainer. So not sure. Again, not sure, but we figured that might happen just because of the seaweed that you see out here. There are big clumps of it, especially if you look right off the balcony where we are. Of course, looking at one of our monster mile marker buoys directly out off of the hotel. Here's Yabba Dabba Doo. So they should come across now in 5th in Class 5. So up next will be Class 1 qualifying and then Super Cat. or I'm sorry, Super Stock. Super Cat elected not to qualify today. They are going to leave the boats on the trailer and pull for positions tomorrow at the drivers' meeting. Tomorrow we will bring you Mod V, 450 Stock, Super Cat, and Class 1, all here from Thunder on Cocoa Beach, presented by Caltech. 2023 APBA National Championship Series underway in the beautiful Atlantic Ocean. As here comes Yabba Dabba Doo across the finish line, and we've got one more Class 5 boat just coming out of the corner, as Yabba Dabba Doo should now be in unofficially 5th place in Class 5. Here is Sweat Equity, Greg DiRenzo, and Ryan Beckley. Of course, Ryan Beckley will be out in just a little while in the Super Stock class. So good for Ryan. He's getting a good read on the water out here today, getting to see the conditions. He can go back and make a last-minute change.
Listen, that's huge.
Sometimes the advantage of double duty, yep.
Double duty, you not only get the that getting in the water shakes out.
Yep.
You mentally know that course. You know where the little parts of that course that can trip you up. And I find that double duty, when you get back into it, especially as you get into the bigger boats, you are pretty powerful. You're in a really good position. Yeah,
well, setup is so critical in the spec class racing. Setup is key.
Absolutely.
To 1st or 5th place. So if you can get an advantage of being able to see the conditions.
Yeah, beautiful day out here in Cocoa Beach, 2023 offshore powerboat race. I got to tell you that the water couldn't be better from an offshore powerboat racers or enthusiast perspective. It's got a nice little bump out here. You got a nice breeze coming out of the east. It's not so choppy where you can really get in trouble on a fast down run.
So not to cut you off real quick, Sweat Equity now is going to come across, I believe it looks like, in 6th place in Class 5 of our Class 5 boats. Go make their way back into the crane area. And that is the Class 6 entry Freebird. Of course, the Joker powerboats, I've got to race this boat before, both in it and against it. Very competitive boat, formerly known as Smith Brothers Team CRC. Of course, this is now the sister ship to Predator, the Class 2 Apache. We will see out here tomorrow.
This is the one that was on the bottom for a week, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it sat on the bottom of the ocean for a week.
I think so, yep. Atlantic City,
Smith Brothers boat.
Atlantic City, Jersey. Yep, you're correct. I forgot about that. Boat 644.
That has been resurrected, pulled from the deep.
Yep.
Rebuilt.
That's a great hull. The Joker boat in Class 6, I drove maxed out for a couple of years, and I really got to enjoy racing the Joker hull. I drove this boat at Lotto for the Smith Brothers, and just a great time. Smith Brothers, of course, now with some grandkids, have chosen to retire and focus on the family and the business up in Pennsylvania. They will surely be missed in Class 6 competition.
Coming up next, Class 1 qualifying. The big boys are going to be out.
2 scratches in Class 1. The Norwegian team couldn't make it, and Good Boy Vodka not here this weekend. Both boats, unfortunately, not able to be ready in time for the event. Takes a lot to get these boats ready to go and ready to race. Of course, all the Class 1 boats running the Mercury 1100 package. There is boat number 700, Punisher. That's a Class 7 boat under tow. As Freebird will... Not sure if Freebird ran an extra lap because Gerard and Rendell pulled off much earlier. So not sure what happened there. Maybe they just went out.
They don't seem like they're off pace.
No, I mean it's
like
Class
just
6.
come alive here on this final.
Freebird now coming across the finish line. So this will wrap up race number 1, coming to you live Saturday, Thunder on Cocoa Beach, presented by Caltech. We are going to take a short commercial break, and we will come back, recap this first race, and we'll look forward to the second event of the day. That will be Class 1 qualifying, and I'm privileged enough to have Mark Granick, Class 1 driver, next to me in the broadcast booth, bringing you live coverage of P1 offshore.
Right after that, we got the Super Stock race.
Yep.
So this is something new. We got the
Super Stock too. So a lot of experience here. You're watching the 2023 Thunder on Cocoa Beach, presented by Caltech, produced by P1 Offshore. We'll be back right after this.